wanna fall in love. Yeah. I just wanna have some fun. Yeah. You got me feeling a vibe. You got me feeling a vibe. Like how could I not think of you? Hey, welcome back to the Bedside Table. I'm your host, Ellie. In this episode, I'm going to be talking about love and friendship, and more specifically, I'm going to be delving into self-love, baby. Yes, self-love. And we're going to be talking about best friends. Besties! So, thank you so much for joining me for another episode of the Bedside Table. I'm excited to be here. We're in a new spot. Yes, I know, I'm spontaneous. I like to change things up every now and then. And when I say every now and then, I mean like every 4 or 5 episodes. I promise I'll stay put at one point. Actually, I can't promise you that. But again, welcome back. Glad to have you here. Let's get into this conversation. You're going to love it. You're going to love it. Okay. Let's talk about love, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about love and friendship. This episode is late, but I can explain. I promise I can explain. It's actually quite funny that this episode happens to be about love and friendship because I've been spending a lot of time with my bestie, okay? So I have very good reasons, not excuses, very good reasons for why this episode is late, a week late. I'm so sorry. I know I came back flying in hot with episode 21 and I am super, super thrilled. Hold on. You know me. If you've been watching my episodes for a while, you know that I consistently adjust my microphone in the beginning because I have to have it right. And I'm trying something different. I'm trying the microphone up to my mouth, up to my face, quite close, closer than I would normally have it, just because I don't like blocking my face in my episodes, but I think with the camera tilt, I think it's fine. I'm getting into specifics. I'm talking way too much about my microphone and my camera and my equipment. Sorry. Yes, so my bestie. I've been spending a lot of time with my bestie. She's been going through some things, and I'm being a good best friend, okay? Gold star for me. Yeah. I took a gold star from you if you're not watching. I reached out and pinched out a gold star from you. Thank you so much. Yeah. But love and friendship is what we're talking about in this episode, as I spoke about in my introduction. Also, my introduction says, let's talk about love, baby. I forgot the lyrics. It's actually sex. Let's talk about sex, baby. But we're not going to be talking about sex. Maybe at some point. That would be a fun conversation. Let's get into love, shall we? Let's get into love. Hello. Who loves love? If you're not watching, I'm pointing at myself right now. Double pointing at myself, actually. I am such a lover girl. Oh, don't even get me started. But yes, let's get started. I adore love. And I was having a conversation with my bestie about how my beliefs, sorry, I'm adjusting my microphone again. I know, I'll get it right, promise. Maybe. I was talking with my bestie about how my beliefs and my views on love have changed, especially compared to when I was growing up. Because, I think there's a bit of naivety? Am I being fancy today? Is that the correct word? Who knows? I think there's always a bit of naivety and innocence when it comes to, of course, young love, teenage love. But there's a bit of, it's like an intensity to it. And I think it's because it's probably like, love is one of the most, in my experience, from what I've learned, love is like one of the most intense emotions. And it's kind of like more than an emotion. It's like a feeling in your soul. It's super hard to explain exactly what love is and what it feels like. But I think it's something that like is an emotion itself, but also elicits emotions. Love is just super powerful. And so when I was growing up, I had this idea of love of being like, I'm going to find my soulmate. I'm going to find someone who loves as intensely as I do. I'm going to find someone who loves me as much as I would love them. Someone who pours their heart into me. Someone who would die for me. You know, someone who couldn't imagine living without me, because that's how I felt. It's like if I love somebody, back then when I was a teenager, how I felt is loving someone was about not being able to live without them. Because if you could live without them, was it real? Do you even love this person? If you can spend your life without them. It was not a reality for me when it came to love growing up. That I could love someone, but I could live without them. Your girl has learned a lot when it comes to love. So a lot has changed for me from growing up, what I thought and what I believed about love, and what I think and believe about love today. I do still absolutely adore it. And I do still think it is the most powerful thing in the world. I think I'll always think that. Who knows? But I do believe the power of love is, there's a word for it, but it's not unbeatable. It's not undefeated. The power of love, there's nothing else that matches up to it. You know, there's fear and there's violence and I don't know, something about love, baby. Power of love. Anyway, getting off topic here. I mean, we're not off topic. We're still talking about love. I'm just losing my train of thought a little. Sorry. It's late for me. It's not even 11 yet, but that's late for me. And I was out walking today. I took myself to the lake and I walked and I listened to music and I had a really nice time. I walked really far and then I had to walk all the way back, but I really enjoyed it. Okay, now I'm really off topic. So getting back on track, the way that I think about love now and what I believe about it, my beliefs around it are much different. I can love someone, but it might sound strange saying it, but it's like I can love someone, but I don't need you. And it kind of sucks, I know, because I think about it, if I were to think about it from, let's say, if I had a partner, from my partner's perspective, if I were to think about that and how it would feel to say, I love you, but I don't need you. But I don't mean it in the sense like I don't want you in my life. I don't mean it in the sense like if I love you, it doesn't mean that I would prefer to be without you when I say I don't need you. It just means I've really learned a lot and I don't need you to survive. I have learned that I can love as intensely as I want to, and I can love someone as fully as possible, but that does not mean that I can't live without them. I don't need this person to keep going. So that's what I really mean when I say, I love you, but I don't need you. It means I love you and I want you here, and I'd prefer your company, and I'd prefer you to be here. But I don't, if things were to go wrong and we ended up parting ways, I would at some point eventually be okay. Because it's something that I've learned that I have to have for myself. That I have to be capable. I have to be able to take care of myself. And this is a perfect segue into talking about self-love. I think self-love, as I've embraced it more, as I've learned more about self-love, the cheesy saying that we've all heard, and we've probably heard it multiple times, that you have to fill your own cup before you can fill others. I've never understood it more than I do at this point in my life. Because I think I was coming from an empty cup for a long time because I didn't know how. I didn't know how to fill my cup. Well, I'm here to talk about one of the best ways to fill your cup. And that's with self-love. That's with self-love, honey. That's with giving yourself a big hug. Even if you can't see right now, if you're listening, I'm giving myself a big hug. And I know it might sound weird and it might be dumb and you might be looking at me like, what are you doing? You should try it. You should try it. And even if it feels funny, even if it feels like, oh, God, cringe, it's okay. It's okay because I've come to learn that loving yourself is about accepting exactly how you feel about yourself. Okay, let me explain this. Let me say it again first. Loving yourself is accepting exactly how you feel about yourself. So if you hug yourself and you're like, cringe, weird, okay, like, oh, super strange. I'm just trying to think of synonyms for cringe. If you love yourself, Jesus, if you hug yourself and it feels so dumb and you feel dumb and you're just like upset with yourself or like embarrassed with yourself, try to like accept that. Try to be like, okay, I'm embarrassed with myself when I hug myself. Okay, this feels weird. I feel weird. I feel dumb. Try and see if you can be okay with what you feel and how you feel about yourself. Especially when you're in the process of trying to love yourself a little bit more. I think, at least in my experience, it's gonna feel really strange for a while, especially if you haven't been very nice to yourself for a long time, if ever. If you still haven't given yourself a hug, I encourage you to do so now. Yes, I'm asking all of us to be weirdos that hug ourselves. Okay, let's all be cringe together. Because don't we love that? Of course we love that. Humans love doing things together, but humans also love feeling feelings together. Have you ever thought about that? Humans love feeling their feelings together. Why do you think we like cringe compilations? We like cringe reactions. We like watching other humans react to cringe. We like watching other humans cringe. We want to make sure that we're all cringing at the same things. It's all about connection, man. Cringe is connection. So let's be cringy together. Come on. Give yourself a big old hug with me. I find myself hugging myself randomly. One of the craziest things that I've become more accustomed to it now, but my inner voice will say, I love you at random points throughout my day. I'm driving home from work. I'm at home. I'm doing a chore. It's literally just random. And I'll just hear myself inside say, I love you. And I'm just like, one of the first few times this started happening, I remember one of the first times it happened, I was actually doing yoga. I was just doing a soft yoga practice, soft and slow, easy on my body, loving myself. And I was in a particular pose where I was kind of enclosed in on myself. It's called child's pose, if you know what that is. But I was kind of enclosed with myself, and I just heard inside, I love you. And I just remember how full I felt in that moment with myself, just how happy I was to hear myself say that I loved myself. I know it sounds silly sometimes and it sounds funny even when I say it out loud, but I just accept okay, it sounds silly, it sounds funny, it's okay. It doesn't change the benefits of it. It doesn't change the way that loving myself makes me feel. So that's why accepting how you feel about yourself is, I would say, the first crucial step to learning how to love yourself. Because it's not about trying to be like, oh, well, I should be like this. I should be doing more of whatever it is. I should be exercising more. I'll feel better. I should be eating healthier. I'll feel better. And then I'll want to love myself. I should be showering more, and I should be socializing more, and I shouldn't be, smoking weed or cigarettes, or I shouldn't be drinking, or I shouldn't be doing this or that. And it's just like, whether you're stuck in some bad habits, or you're really struggling, or you don't feel quite ready for a lot of things yet, that's all of it. All of it's okay. It's just like learning how to meet yourself where you are. And maybe you've heard that before. Just meeting yourself where you are. It's not about reaching any goal or hitting a standard right now. It's just about, how do I feel right now? And how do I feel about myself? And can I be okay with that? And if you're not okay with that, accept that you're not okay with that. Is this making sense? Like, whatever it is, wherever you are, however you're feeling about yourself and your life, and whatever position you're holding with yourself right now, just kind of think about it and think like, what do I think about myself? How do I feel about myself? Do I hate myself? Am I angry with myself? Am I disappointed in myself? Do I wish I could do more? Do I feel like a failure? And however it is, whatever comes up for you, maybe it's the opposite for you. Maybe you're extremely proud of yourself, and maybe you're so happy with where you are and with how far you've come, and wherever you are, whatever end of the spectrum with self-love that you're on, because it's all self-love. Because in my eyes and in my mind, I've come to learn that self-love really is just about accepting wherever you're at on this spectrum of feelings and life. And it's just, whether I'm all the way down at the bottom of the spectrum or I'm all the way up at the top, riding the highs, living life, feeling blissful. No matter where I'm at, I've been learning to just accept it. And that really is just kind of the first step of self-love, just loving yourself. It's just about being like, hey, I don't like myself today. And that's okay. All right. Okay. And if it's not okay, if I don't feel okay with not liking myself, that's all right. It's okay to not feel okay about it. So what can I do? What little thing can I do? All right, we don't feel okay. We don't feel okay that I'm mad at myself right now. I'm not okay with how I've been treating myself. I'm not okay with how mean I am to myself. I'm not okay with how bad I make myself feel. I'm not okay with people walking all over me. I'm not okay with tolerating things that make me feel bad about myself. I'm not okay with these things. Just being able to voice what you're not okay with, I think, is a form of acceptance, which is a form of self-love. Just being able to say, this is not okay. I'm not okay with this. I'm not okay with me right now. I'm not okay with my habits. I'm not okay with what I'm doing every day. Okay. You've said it. You've said it, you've stated it. It's the reality, it's the truth, it's your truth. State your truth. Say what you feel. And accept it for what it is. And then you can work toward making changes. Then you can work toward really loving yourself. But I think it really starts with accepting where you are. I think that's the first crucial, and I think a continuous important thing about self-love. It's just self-acceptance. Because if you can accept... Okay, I'm sorry. My cat is so distracting right now. She's literally... Monkey! She's literally like biting at her toe claws. I was gonna say toenails, but they are claws. I don't know why. I was trying so hard to stay focused, but I couldn't. I had to accept that I couldn't focus. I'm not even upset. I would have been more upset if I tried to tell myself, no, just keep going. You're fine. You're focused. I would have been upset if I didn't accept the reality that I wasn't focused. A prime example of self-acceptance that has led me to feeling good about myself. Oh, it's funny. Just like, it's funny. Learning about self-love, it's just like, excuse me. When I have been learning about self-love, it just kind of makes me laugh now, because I'm like, it's just me kind of like learning about myself. I'm learning about myself, what I want for me. I just like learned, one of the big things is like, I've learned to laugh with myself. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. And it's just brought such an element of joy to my life. Just not only learning to laugh with myself, but just like learning to laugh at myself too. Not in a way that makes me feel bad about myself, of course, but just like if I make mistakes, or mainly that. If I make mistakes, if I mess up, if I do something silly or cringe, I'm just like, yeah, that was what it is. Like, yeah, that was embarrassing. But like, that's cool. Like, it's okay. I'm embarrassing sometimes. I do embarrassing things, and I think that's something I've really been enjoying. It's just being less self-conscious about being like, I guess, weird. Because don't get me wrong, I've always been a weirdo, but I've been really good at pretending. I've been really good at playing it off. Trying to be quote unquote normal. What the heck does that mean? But yeah. Okay. Let's take a quick break, and then I'll talk a little bit more about self-love. Got a little bit more I want to say. Okay.
You got me feeling some type of way from the songs. It's too early days, and I can't seem to keep my mind off of you.
So while I was on my walk at the lake today, or actually I think it was after, I think it was the drive home. Yeah, I think it was the drive home. I was thinking, yeah, it was the drive home. I was thinking about self-love, and I had this thought of like, you gotta do more of what, you gotta do more for you that feels good for you. And you may not know exactly what those things are. So you may not know what things feel good for you. You may not know what things make you happy. But the more you do things, the more you'll figure it out. So the more things you do, the more you get out there and try this or that, the more you'll find out what is for you and what does feel good for you. And some exercises that I've actually done, because I struggled with this. I talked about this in my previous episode, but there was a point in time that I reached where I was like, do I even like my likes anymore? Like, who the heck am I? What do I even like? Like, I reached that period, and that was, it was a little unnerving. It's a little crazy. But when I reached that period, it gave me kind of the curiosity and openness to figure things out, or rather just to like start somewhere of like, well, how do I figure out what I like? So one of the things that I researched, I say research, I'm literally like just looking shit up on Google and YouTube to figure things out. But like, hey, the information is out there. There's so much. But yeah, so I'm watching like YouTube videos and like I'm reading articles that I'm just Googling, and I'd come across something, I don't remember if it was a video or an article, but I had come across something that said, think about what you used to do as a kid. Think about your interests as a kid, the things that you used to like. And I was like, well, and it's, write them down and go from there. And it's funny because like, I think I wrote down like photography and video recording, because I used to walk around my house with my dad's camcorder, and record home videos. And I used to make Barbie movies with my brother, and there was a point in time where we didn't make them with video. We had a radio that you could record with cassettes, and we would record Barbie videos. This is literally just me and him sitting on the floor. We're recording on a cassette tape of just our voices of us playing Barbies. So I was very adamant about creating in some way, shape, or form. So, but yeah, I did a lot of, I don't even know, but it was, I did, photography and videoing, recording. I don't know what to call it. Overcall it videoing. But I really liked, my cat is, sorry. The video probably shook a little bit. My cat's right next to the tripod. But yeah, so this exercise was just like asking you to explore what you did as a kid and see what resonated with you as an adult. And that was kind of a fun thing, because it just like wrote things down, and I was like, kind of just sparked a little bit of like, yeah, I did really love these things. And it brought back memories, of course. It was just nice to, sorry, my cat is right next to my tripod, and she's, I don't know, I feel like she has crazy eyes. I don't know what she's doing. Sorry. Keep getting distracted with my cat. If she knocks over my camera, it's done for. We're over. It's over and done. But I really liked that exercise because it just brought me back to an open and curious place, because that's kind of who we are as kids. And I was talking with my coworker today actually about this. It's funny, about just being kids, what that was like, just being open and curious. And when you reach your adulthood and you hit this point where you're just like, what the heck do I like anymore? And I don't even know what makes me feel good. It's like, try to tap into that openness and that curiosity that did exist when you were younger. Hopefully. I think for all of us at some point it did exist, no matter what kind of hardships we went through. I hope and I truly do believe that there was a period of openness and curiosity and childlike wonder, basically, and even if for a brief moment. But maybe that's something you could try if you struggle with figuring out what it is that you like, or figuring out what makes you feel happy, what you like doing. Because I know it's probably kind of daunting to be like, well, just get out there and try things. It's like, well, what the heck do I try? Because that was my thing. It's just, it felt kind of daunting of like, okay, I don't know what I want to do. I don't know what I like. So what am I supposed to do? I'm just supposed to go try random shit. But I know I don't really want to try this or that, And so I wasn't completely open, I guess, to everything. But I think having a starting point of just, what did I like to do? What was I interested in when I was growing up? And what piqued my interest and my curiosity as a kid? And can I try to be open to giving those things a shot now and seeing how they make me feel? And maybe they feel different. And maybe you've changed. And that's okay too. Keep that in mind. Maybe you've changed. And, oh, she does have crazy eyes. Monkey. You okay? What's the matters? She's coming to cuddle with me. Hi. I'm just recording my podcast, baby. Yeah. There you go. Yes, my sweet girl. Stinker pot. But yeah, it was just like, it helped spark some curiosity within me, and it just oh yeah, it was a little bit further along than there. Sorry, I was trying to remember where I was in the conversation, but yeah, maybe you've changed. Maybe things have changed for you. Maybe you really are in a place where you're like, I don't know if I like what I used to like anymore, and that's okay, but maybe it's different. Maybe it's fulfilling. Maybe it can still be fulfilling, but perhaps in a different way. Maybe there's a different way to go about it now that things have changed, now that maybe you feel different. I think that's something that I learned to accept about myself too, is like, well, I can change the way that I do things, and it doesn't take away from the memory, or it doesn't take away from how I used to experience it. I already had that experience, if that makes sense, kind of. Because there was like this sense of guilt of like, well, if I don't do it how I used to do it, I'm not really honoring it. Or, it's like, oh, well, maybe I wasn't genuine, and maybe it wasn't a genuine like, or something like that, if that makes sense. But yeah, I'm going to end this little spiel about self-love by saying change is okay too. So if you feel yourself changing and it feels kind of scary or strange, that's a part of self-acceptance and self-love as well. And I think maybe instead of using the word change, we could use growth. It's about growing. And maybe instead of thinking, oh, I'm changing, maybe reframe it and think, oh, I'm growing. I'm growing. Ooh, I like that. That's very nice.
It comes and it goes, but it's never gone. How can I go on without you? Please, don't let me. Please, don't let me.
Oh, your girl is sleepy. It's past my bedtime. Folks. I came home after work yesterday because I'd gotten an hour of sleep, I think. Maybe a little more, maybe a little less. And when I got off of work yesterday, I ate some food and I passed out and I slept for like 10 and a half hours. Oh, it was so good. It was so good. Oh, but I'm up late again tonight. I've had this energy of just like, I don't want to go to sleep yet. I know sleep is so good for me. I know. And most of the time I am good, but I've been a bit more lenient with myself with sleep because I've just been enjoying being awake. If that makes sense. I'm just not ready to go to sleep most nights. Even though I like doing my podcast episodes before bed because they really wind me down because I just talk about everything. But anyway, so maybe for the next 10, 15 minutes or so, we're talking about besties, y'all. We're talking about besties. And I'm going to start with talking about a couple of my besties. And I don't know how, like, I don't know if I want to get into like specifics. Like, I don't necessarily want to like introduce them. Maybe someday they'll be on the pod. I think that would be really stinking cool. I will be having guests at some point. I just don't know when yet. Because that requires a second microphone, and a second microphone requires money. And maybe perhaps we don't need a second microphone, but I personally would like each of us to have our own. But anyway, I made an Instagram post today about turning 29. Your girl's 29, by the way. Ayo, happy birthday to me. It's past my birthday, especially now by the time you're watching this. By the time you're watching this, actually, I'm going to be in the Bahamas on my birthday vacation. I'm taking a trip to the Bahamas. I've talked about it, I think, once in a previous episode. But yeah, by the time you're watching this, your girl's in the Bahamas with one of her besties. I'm probably drinking a cocktail right now. Probably, I don't know, taking a dip in the pool, or I'm partying. Oh my goodness, I'm so stinking excited. The only thing I'm nervous about is that I'm flying a plane for the first time. I keep saying flying. I said it like that when I first talked about going to the Bahamas. It's like, I'm flying a plane for the first time. No, I'm not flying a plane. I'm not becoming a pilot. I'm not doing that. I'm riding in a plane. How do you say it? I'm going to be on a plane. There we go. I'm going to be on a plane for the first time in years. And I'm a little nervous about that. But I think I've got it. I know how to cope with my anxiety really well. It's not a new experience, but it's just a new experience since I've had bad anxiety, basically. So, wish me luck. Ayo. But yeah, by the time you watch this, your girl's at the Bahamas. Oh my gosh. Yay. Ah! But anyway, what was I talking about? Oh yes, my bestie. Ah! I was talking about best friends. Okay. Freaking excuse me. What can I say? What can I say, dude? I'm blessed. I am blessed. And when you find yourself best friends to where you feel mother freaking blessed, that's when you know you've won. You know, like, I have friends who tell me to look at the moon, and I'm just like, what is my life? But I have this particular best friend, and I've talked about her before, and her name's Lil, and she's just, it's crazy. Like, we've known each other for a few years now, and it's just, she makes me laugh. I feel good in her company all the time, and I don't know, she makes me think about, like, because I had best friends growing up. I had a best friend from elementary school. She was my best friend for over 10 years. And walking away from that friendship it took a couple tries, because I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to let go of it. I was just like, we've been best friends for over 10 years. But a lot changes. You know, because we were best friends from growing up, from being kids. And then when we grew up, life changes a lot, and it changed a lot for the both of us, and we did try. And we parted ways amicably, because I do still love her and wish her the best, but making friends in adulthood is strange. It's like a bittersweet thing, and I've come to accept what it is. It's just, it doesn't make it any easier when you kind of have to, like, when friendships change and the dynamics change. Because there are a lot of elements in adult life that can affect a friendship. You know, I have best friends who have moved. They live out of state, and they've started their lives. They've had families. And I haven't seen them in a long time. But, sorry, that's my toilet, if you can hear it. It's distracting me. Okay, it's done. But yeah, there are just a lot of elements in adulthood that affect friendships. And so that's what makes them it makes them kind of difficult, but also just makes them different. It makes them a lot different, because you're not in the same hometown. You don't have school tying you together, and you're not seeing each other every single day. I mean, maybe, but yeah, like I said, I have best friends who are, like, out of state. And then I'm lucky to have a couple of local best friends. I'm lucky to have the friends that I have. Besties or not, but specifically we're talking about besties. But I just feel extremely blessed and grateful for the people in my life, and that my path has crossed theirs. So if you find somebody, and if you're lucky enough to find a best friend in adulthood, like, woo, hold on to that. Hold on to that, cherish that, nourish that. Really, really nourish that. Like, show up for them as they show up for you. But you've got to make sure it's reciprocal. And reciprocity is something that I'm going to be talking about in a future episode. I don't know if it's going to be a part of a love and friendship episode or if it's going to be a part of a toxic relationship episode. It might be a part of both. Because I intend on, there will be more episodes about love and friendship. This is just the first one. Hey. But yeah, reciprocity is very, very important when it comes to friendships, with relationships in general. But if we're talking about friendships, yeah, they've got to be giving back too. And that's I think it's like, kind of one of the main reasons, other than just how adulthood changes your friendships and how adulthood can lead you and your friends in different directions. I think ultimately one of the biggest factors in determining whether an adult friendship survives is reciprocity. And I've had to let go of some friendships because of that. But yeah, my besties, I don't know what to say about them. First of all, I'm really tired at this point. I'm very tired. But I'm just extremely grateful for them. And yeah. Adult friendships are difficult and strange and ever-changing, and I know at some point the besties that I have right now might not be my besties. It's just a reality I have to look at and face. It's not the reality right now. Obviously, my besties right now are my besties, so I'm gobbling up that reality, but I just I've come to understand that people come and people go. And it is very bittersweet. So, for all the besties out there, tell them right now that you love them. If they're with you, tell them you love them. If they're not with you, text them. Call them. Whatever you need to do to get the message across that you freaking love your best friend. Tell them right now. Right now, right this instant, tell your best friend, your best bitch, tell your bestie, your BFF, your sister from another mister, your brother from another mother, whichever phrase you want to use for yourself. Call them, text them, run to them, go to their house. Maybe not unannounced unless, you guys are tight like that, which if you're besties, you probably are. In any way, shape, or form right now at this moment, tell your bestie that you love them. Tell them right now. Because it's so important. It's so important to cherish, and not only cherish, but nourish those friendships. Nourish them. Yeah. That's all I have to say about besties for this episode, because I am sleepy. Very sleepy. But I'll talk more about besties in a future episode as well. Or just friendship in general. I have some good things written out that I want to talk about. But for this bestie, your internet bestie, ayo! It's bedtime for your internet bestie. And if I'm not your internet bestie, that's totally okay. It's still bedtime. It is still bedtime for me. But thank you so much for joining me for another episode of The Bedside Table. And again, here is my email. Please send in any stories you have about love and friendship, or questions about love and friendship that you have for me that you'd like me to talk about on the pod. I love love and I love friendship, and I am excited to hear from you. So yeah, send in an email with your stories or your questions, or both, and I'd be happy to talk about it on the pod. Thank you for joining me for love and friendship. Oh my gosh, for self-love and for best friends. And we'll be doing more love and friendship videos. I think I'm going to do either one or two more in this set of episodes. So, stay tuned and subscribe. I usually don't say that, but I'm going to say it. I think my videos are cool. And they're comfy. And I hope that they've brought some goodness into your life. I've definitely brought some goodness into mine. But yeah, subscribe if you like them. And they come out almost consistently. There's breaks in between every 10 episodes, and I'm late on uploading sometimes, but we do our best. I'm still going to be here uploading, but yeah. Anyway, my brain is literally falling apart now because I'm exhausted, so I'm going to go to sleep. I'm literally just going to close this down, turn all my lights off, and get my booty to sleep. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week in episode 23. Crazy. Wait, is this episode 21? Have I been calling it episode 22? I think this is episode 21. Oh well, I'll fix it, I guess. I'll just put like little asterisks on my video when I edit it. Okay, I have to go to bed now. Good night.